Welcome to episode 7 of the Isuzu A-League downloads. Rest and rotation for today's squad. Thomas Sorensen here. Welcome, Thomas. How are you?
Great to be back, but great to have a new partner.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's interesting to see if you and Norm Sakalovsky can work together and dovetail as a team. Archie, just for the tape, Archie Thompson has done nothing wrong that we know of or that we didn't know of previously. I haven't checked his Wikipedia. That's a dangerous thing to say. But, you know, you can never tell with Archie. But he's been rested because we just have to test the squad out. VIDUKA, it's good to have some Macedonian back in the studio.
Nice to be back.
Yeah.
Not a bad balance here, to be fair. I've got another big man next to me in Tomo.
Yeah.
Did my research over the weekend, jumped on Wikipedia, wealth of experience.
Yeah.
Played a lot of Premier League.
Yeah.
Watched a lot of Premier League.
Good.
Right, so nice yin and yang there. But really interesting photo that Tomo had on his wiki. So I'd love to know where that photo was taken.
Okay, what's happening in that?
He's just sort of chilling. He's a young, strapping, good-looking...
Long hair. I tried to grow my hair that way. Really? I had a few curls, yeah.
Did you have the kind of Nordic thrash metal look?
I wasn't that long. But,
right.
Yeah. Looking back, I wasn't too proud. But yeah, I thought it was cool at the time.
But good-looking, Tomo. Yeah. Really good-looking.
You know, I'll let other people judge that.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie.
One thing I will say back, Chris, I've noticed that whenever Thomas is talking, I refer to Tony Pulis' Stoke. And I reckon he's starting to think, can Max just not bring that up again? So, like, I made a conscious decision. So I see in his eyes him going, oh, this again, get it launched, here we go. So I'm not going to reference it this episode, but if you drop it in, he's got to be polite to you, you know, that's the way things work,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah, look, I think I'm gonna play the safe card here.
Yeah?
Maxi. Coming in after Archie ripped us a short back and sides, I think last time, there was a little bit of niggle there.
Yeah, that's true.
And I thought, might be a UFC offering here, the two Macedonians, but
that's true.
I want to try mend and create a bridge during this episode. So
between the Balkans and Scandinavia.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
I don't think there's ever been a grudge, but, like, you know, we can mend, we can try.
Let's mend.
Or, I mean, actually, in terms of the YouTube numbers, which are doing staggeringly well.
Huge.
Like a massive set two between the two of you. I'm trying to work out at what point in the show, like a big, huge fight, I think would be quite good. They're doing these kind of celebrity boxing. That's what boxing's become these days. Yeah. Just famous people.
But maybe hype it for later in the season. Like just keep people...
So? Or we could do like a tag team, the Macedonians versus you and Archie.
There we go.
I think we need to get back on track here.
Okay. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
The Jakarta special.
That's a really good one. Yeah, let's sell the rights to just some random country with a horrendous human rights record, but we'll take the money. We don't care. Let's go through the results then. If you weren't aware of them, here's what happened in the A-League this weekend. Began with a point for Perth, which is good for them, isn't it? Any point's a good one for them. They drew in Adelaide, 2-2. Well done, Norm. It's because they knew you were coming on. Auckland FC, another victory for them. 2-0 over Newcastle Jets. Big result for Western Sydney Wanderers. They really needed that 2-0 victory. Far less chat about Juan Mata when they actually win a game. Then Macarthur 4, Brisbane 4. I don't know how we're going to analyse that. It's too many goals to really take anything seriously from it, but it was really entertaining. Great result for Melbourne Victory yesterday against Western United as well. Should we start in Auckland then? 2-0. They're just winning, Thomas. I don't know if they're being spectacular. I don't know if that matters, but if they do that, if they win every game for the rest of the season and win it all.
Yeah, in football that doesn't matter. And I think you can...
Because you remember at Stoke, obviously. Oh, I can't believe that.
Wow.
You went there already, Tomo.
Wow. We were as well drilled as Auckland are. I think, you know, they're efficient. You know, again, even... You know, in this game, without Sakai, their captain, you know, still rolling on. And yeah, they rode their luck. Ben Gibson had that chance where Alex Paulson, who kept another clean sheet.
Great save.
Paulson did
Great
well.
save, important. You know, so
Huge.
They're riding their luck, but also, you know, I think they deserve it as well. And yeah, at some point they're going to, you know, have a little bit of a wobble, I'm sure, because they're not sort of rolling teams over. But, you know, the atmosphere again over in Auckland was amazing. And, you know, you can see them already developing into a contender right from only 5 games in.
That surprise you?
No, not really. I think they're building nicely. Like Tomo said, Croker's got them organised, well drilled, and football's simple sometimes, Maxi. And they're doing the simple things right. And then you got Moreno comes on, I think great sub by Corica, and then considering the conditions as well, hits it first time, great finish. And then I think gives us a host of celebrations. I think he has about a 5-in-1 celebration. Maybe for the Black Friday weekend, he's giving us a few extra specials. But the kid gets really excited. But why not? I mean, think about the start to their season. They broke another record, I think. I'm not too sure what it was. I don't know if either of you two do.
The best start and also 5 clean sheets, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
play on.
We'll flash that for whatever the record was, just big
Whatever it was,
letters on the screen. Yeah. No, they're flying. And the finish as well is great, isn't it? Because to control that ball out of the sky is really not easy.
There's a little bit of a lock shank, or what do you call it in golf? You can hook it.
A bit of fade.
Fade, that's a better hook. It's not good.
You're
I'm not a golfer, Tomo. I play a bit of cricket, but no golf.
Yeah, but again, they've obviously signed some like Hall from the Central Coast who won the league last year, Sakai. But then, you're talking about Gallegos in midfield, Juliano May, that they've signed some players and they've slotted in straight away and some local talent.
Absolutely.
Rogerson, like we've talked about players stepping up, and De Vries, I think, has been immense on that left side, bombing on. So there just seems to be a good group of players that all buy into the philosophy and work hard for each other, and you can get far with that. And then just a little bit of luck, a bit of quality that I have either end.
Absolutely.
We've got a winning side.
And is it De Vries?
De Vries, yeah.
De Vries keeps bombing on, gets that second goal and just locks it away for him.
Yeah, him and Gillian on that left-hand side. They're really...
great combo.
Yeah, great combo.
Great combo.
It's just come to me. Auckland became just... and I'm just looking...
Here we go.
I'm looking this way because I just don't want to look at either of you in the eyes.
The deep dive.
Just the second team in Australian National Men's League history to win their first 5 games after Sydney's Western Suburbs in the NSL in 1977.
What about the 5 clean sheets? Where are we with that? Like surely there's...
Can I just credit stats guru Andy Howe? I don't know where Andy is.
Good on you, Andy.
Thank you,
He's
Andy.
a guru, so...
He is a guru.
Good on you, Andy.
He is he's atop the highest of Blue Mountain, isn't he? Just in a yurt. And when people want stats from Australian soccer history, they walk up and you have one question for Andy Howe and he says, what is my one question? And then you can ask him. Yeah. And that was the question we asked. We sent one of the minions just there.
Absolutely. A pigeon from Harry Potter.
So how long does this go on for? They've got Wellington, then Melbourne City. Do you just think they just keep... Not steamrolling. They're not a steamroller, are they? They're just chugging along.
Just efficiency. Obviously, the derby, plenty of spice from the first one with Auckland putting those big signs up in Wellington that they took the V back to Auckland. So I'm sure there'll be some Wellington fans that want some revenge, and it's going to be a great atmosphere. And then Melbourne City, as you said, they're again just maybe lacking goals, but playing well. So, another 2 big tests. They'll keep coming for them.
Here's a question.
Here we go.
Right, we're all like on the Auckland train, aren't we? We're all enjoying it. They're new, it's exciting. They keep winning, but people don't like teams that win. At what point do we all go?
That's early. Like,
you think
it's not like they won 3 titles.
It's not like Man City. You're right. Where everyone is reveling in Man City being so bad. It's like joyous. But at what point do we turn around and go, I'm bored of Auckland winning all the time. Can someone stuff them?
Well, we've got the derby. Big test for them. And that top 6 is starting to settle now.
Yeah.
So I think let's give it this New Year sort of Christmas period.
When to start the backlash.
To start the backlash.
Right, okay.
Yeah. Let's get over the 25th. Let's get over Christmas. And then as we head into Orthodox Christmas, right, 7th of Jan.
Yeah.
Then we can start.
I celebrate the Macedonian Christmas. Like, you have no idea. It's just so much better than normal
Lamb
Christmas.
on the spit.
Yeah.
Pig on the spit.
It's what my parents always did. I was
Really?
like, this is weird. You don't know where Macedonia is? And they were like, don't worry, son. This is how you do Christmas. Remind me when that one is?
7th of Jan.
That's it,
For all the people celebrating at home.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait.
You celebrate every year. We can't remember when.
Yeah. Well, the sort of, they're just so wild. I'm smashed. I can't remember it.
The best thing about it is we get the Boxing Day sales.
Yeah.
So we're winning. We're always winning, Tomo.
Okay, yeah, cheap food, cheap presents, whatever.
Win-win.
Perfect.
Play on. Yep.
Okay, let's go to Melbourne Victory's win at Western United on Sunday afternoon. They look good, don't they? And obviously we're going to get to Fornaroli because that's such... Well, why don't we start there, right? Because he's a guy we're worried, like, does he have to leave? Does he come back? Comes on. It's such an unerring finish. Archie in the WhatsApp group said best finish of the season.
He did.
I thought that was a bit...
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
It was good. It was a good finish.
Great finish.
Again, he anticipates the defender missing it, and then in behind a couple of touches.
Takes it well.
Takes it well. But yeah, like, I've spoken a bit to Bruno off
the
air.
record.
And he has been frustrated.
Okay.
I think, you know, as any
This is good
striker,
investigative journalism, Thomas. I
Yeah,
like
no,
this.
but
How good's this?
yeah, no, but he has been
Tomo.
frustrated, and I don't know what he, you know, there was a bit of, you know, a little bit of a dig with the celebration or not, but you can understand it. Like, he has been an important figure. He, you know, he missed that penalty in the first game, and then suddenly he doesn't play. And it's not like Vegas, even though he scored in this one, has set the world alight. So yeah, you know, it just shows his quality, and it shows the depth that they have. You know, they even
Piscopo off the bench as well.
you know, and then VIDUKA didn't play, and Asani has come in, and he's set
so
for him,
good.
and Mashas,
Yeah.
unbelievable. I think Asani just needs the finishing product because he gets in so many
Yeah,
good positions.
he does everything else so well.
Yeah, and his final ball, he set up, you know, obviously Mashas' goal and great bit of footwork and great finish. You know, so they seem to be the informed team, and they're solid at the back. You know, even though in this game, I feel it could have turned when it hit the post and hit Duncan at the back of the leg. You're like,
You know,
as a
the
goalkeeper, that's the worst. Like, you're just praying.
I have a question
Yeah.
on that, right? And I've thought this about top-level goalkeeping. Sometimes you know you're not going to get there, but you dive anyway, right?
Yeah, and you get credit for an own goal, is it?
Well, I'm just saying.
I've had a few of
actually, if you're not going to get the ball, don't
Don't
dive
dive.
because it might hit the post
Come
and
on,
then
mate, you
Controversial.
don't
Tomo.
dive. You know you're
I
not
would
going to
say
get it.
you would look pretty cash if you just like stood there and just let it hit the post and bounce back out.
You've got to know your angles.
No,
If you're at the elite level-
I think if you've been in football and you played at top level, it's
Well,
all
yeah,
about
I mean, you're-
percentages.
Which
you're
he has.
speaking to us.
Which
Come
Maxi
on.
has.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
thank
has.
you,
And,
Melbourne
and you
Uni.
know it's
Yeah.
all
Give
about
him a plug.
percentages.
Yeah.
And you know you gotta cover your bases. You know, you can't just liberally just take chances and hope and
No, but I'm thinking
and live
actually.
on hope.
No. But if you think I cannot get that, right? You're watching the shot and you go, you've got a
But
good
how
reach.
many? Now you are a punter. You sit and you have these talk shows.
Yeah.
How many times have you sit there and said, "Just look at the effort. He's not even diving for it."
I don't.
And-
No.
I
I'm
bet
waiting.
you've said that many
No,
times.
no,
I don't know
I'm-
how many times I've heard that where I was like,
No, I understand
You
that.
know, you stand there and then you're like, wow.
But don't listen to pundits.
What is his job if he doesn't dive for it?
Don't listen to don't listen to this rubbish. But I was just thinking, if you don't dive, and then that one's
Don't dive too late though, because then you also get criticized.
No, that's true. I mean, this example is it's like he's very close to it, but like sometimes when it's right over there and you think, then you're just ready.
Yeah.
Because the thing that I think goalkeepers do that I'm constantly, and as I'm now a middle-aged man, if I go to ground now, I'm down there for 5 to 10
For a
minutes.
while.
Yeah.
You're going down
Yeah.
in installments.
I'm going in installments, and then I'm staying down.
You're giving football a bad name, though. That's
But like that getting up bit, when they do a double save, in the moment, are you a bit tired when you're like, got to get up and do this again?
that's the best feeling. Like,
Yeah.
that's
That's
what
what
you
you
train
live for,
for.
Tomo.
Yeah.
You got to revel with it. It's like a striker scoring a goal. Like
Yeah.
it's like a striker scoring a goal and just turn around and walk back. You got to revel in it. Yeah. The energy and the boost and the emotions.
I admire you.
Yeah.
Can you show us the screen grabs of your chat with Fornaroli, or would that be betraying?
Wow.
Yeah,
Come on.
Or is it?
Whoa.
Or do we don't want to play our hand too soon because you're in there now. You're in there.
No, it was
Let's
face to face, I think, anyway,
I
Tomo.
don't want to get in between anyone.
Right.
But yeah, no, I don't think it's a rocket science that he's been frustrated.
Sure.
So,
And you don't think he'd be happy being that kind of old guy, comes off the bench for 20 minutes, scores
he's a
goal?
passionate South American.
Yeah.
So
That's quite a nice gig, isn't it? You can still walk the next day. You've only played 20 minutes.
But there's nothing wrong with a little bit of friction because I think then, he comes on and he actually proves a point somewhat. And the reality is PK's depth, for them two boys to come on late in the game and really secure it is fantastic. What the big man chooses to do from a personal aspect is up to him. But I think it's probably going to push him a little bit more. And he's going to give a little bit extra as well.
And push his teammates, right?
Yeah, and that's what good management is.
Yeah.
That's knowing the players and know that Fornaroli has that fire, but then to know when to bring him in
absolutely.
and still keep him
Absolutely,
happy.
Tomo. Yeah.
Because he's got that quality. Like, he has that X factor and he can, make a big impact. And so good management is keeping everyone at their best.
Yeah.
And that's that's what he did in this
Bit
game.
like Archie Thompson's just locked out there now, but next
Out.
week he'll be flying, won't he?
But and you imagine Fornaroli.
Have you got the key for the room?
Just leave him there for a week,
Imagine him linking up with Azani after yesterday's game. He was Roy Kent-esque. He's here,
Roy
he's
Kent?
there, he's
Whoa.
every effing where. Roy Kent,
A little bit more skill than Roy Kent, I think.
a little bit more skill, yeah.
without wanting to expose my lack of knowledge, could you just tell me who Roy Kent is?
Oh, come on.
So wait, we've got a Pom here,
Okay.
a football expert,
Yeah.
who's got no idea about Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso.
Oh, is it from Ted Lasso?
Are you having a bubble bath?
midfielder?
Do you know what? Come on. So when the trailer came out, I thought that show looked terrible. And he's reading Inverting the Pyramid by Jonathan Wilson, who's a mate of mine, who's like the tactics doyen of football. And we were like, don't give Wilson any publicity because, you know, he goes on about it. He wrote this book that everybody reads. And I haven't got past the page 107. So we're like, well, I'm not doing that. And then I didn't have Apple TV because you can't have everything.
Yep.
But then I did get Apple TV. What did I get it for? The Bear.
The Bear.
So I'm watching The Bear, which is brilliant.
But Ted Lasso is 10
Ted
times
Lasso.
better, man.
I bet it isn't. I mean, Ted Lasso might be good, but The Bear, I'm telling you, I know this isn't a
I've
TV
watched the
review.
first season of The Bear. But
Maybe a little wager, Tom.
You watched the first season of The Bear. You didn't go straight into season 2.
No. I know they go to Copenhagen apparently in season 2.
Yeah, they do, yeah.
It can't even, no.
Okay, well, I'll give Ted Lasso a try. But trying to sell that to Mrs. Rushton, we have a small child, we have a limited amount of TV viewing time. I said it's a football show.
Yeah.
I know it isn't. It's about love and family and like community, like all great TV, but like this is in many ways. Where were we?
Azani.
Azani and Mashash actually had a real good understanding, didn't they?
They did.
They look great together. It is very bold to call your child Zinedine, isn't it?
I think it's a very common name now.
Do you think so?
Yeah,
I think it's
but-
not. It's like I was trying to think of a Christian. I mean, obviously, if you called your kid Pele, that is a stretch, right?
If you call a kid Zinedine Zidane II, then I think you're pushing it.
That's a bit of a stretch.
Then you're pushing it, but I think this is okay. Like
But do you think
Zinedine
if you're
Mashash,
called Zinedine, do you think I might give football a miss? I might just go into accountancy or play another sport or something because you know, it's hard. He's a very good player, but
So you feel? I feel like Max Caputo from Melbourne City. He's already got big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
With Max Ruston.
well, obviously, I
you know,
understand
so
that. You know,
that's
but
fair
not,
play.
You know, those situations exist everywhere. You know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, that's
Zinedine,
true.
It's okay.
You think it's fine?
I'm named after a saint.
Yeah, I know. And look at you. And when do you become a saint? It's about 3 episodes of this, I think.
At least.
Yeah.
At least.
Saint Norm.
Saint Naum.
Saint Naum.
Don't say Saint Norm
Saint
in
Norm.
Macedonia.
No.
when you cross immigration.
Yeah. Is that wrong?
Because you ain't coming back.
I just don't imagine there are any Saint Normans, are there?
Nah.
I think
no.
Thomas Muller has done pretty well. You know,
He
obviously
has.
living up to
living in your
my
shadow.
career.
Yeah.
So you know,
you're absolutely right.
You can make a career out of
Yeah.
it.
Now you say it. It was a stupid point that I shouldn't have brought up. How near, you know, it sort of feels to me like when Victory are playing well, they are the most exciting team to watch in the league at the moment.
You know, I think that there's plenty of teams actually. I think this weekend showed that there's excitement, good and bad. But yeah, Victory. You know, I think for a while there was like a couple of years, maybe a few years ago, where they were struggling a little bit.
Yeah,
but
correct.
overall, they've always had quality and always had good players and always been able to also have a good team. And I think PK, that what he did at Melbourne City. He's done the same here.
He's
got
replicating.
and he's ruffled a few feathers,
Yeah.
like we saw with Bruno Rowley. Asani was left out in the beginning, and so he's motivated them, and you can see it's working. He's got a couple of young players in midfield, and yeah, it's they've still got a goalkeeper to come in January, so a top quality keeper. So they're only going to get better, I feel.
They look strong and stable, and I think on their day can comfortably beat any team, right? And have probably proven that. It's how you manage the longevity of that now with that playing squad, Tomo.
Yeah.
But I think PK's proven it before at City, and has showed us in this first month and a bit that he's definitely got it in the locker.
Word on Western United?
You know what? I don't think they were great in this game. Aloisi even said it after. I thought they were second best for most parts. But, saying that, they had that at 1-1 where
Correct,
it hits the post and hit Duncan. And they could have gone 2-1 up, undeservedly, you can say. But these things happen sometimes in games. So, but overall, I don't think there was any questions about the winner on this one. And it's back to the drawing board.
At half-time, there was somebody won the half-time competition and won $61. It's not to be sniffed at. Money's money.
It probably pays for the day out. Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe potentially.
Can we round it off, Tomo? Maxi?
Well,
They could have rounded it up to 100 maybe, or to 70.
Bradman, 99.9. Bradman.
I don't know.
Average it out.
Can we get some researchers to find out why
Well,
61?
I'm just looking at the check now. It says presented by 61 Design.
Oh, okay.
There we
Maybe.
go. There we go.
But it's a shame for that
It's
guy.
not 6100. It's
Yeah.
just 61.
If only that company had been called 61,000 Design, that fan would be much happier.
Well, we've given
wouldn't
them a plug now.
Yeah.
So that's...
it? For all your design needs.
Yeah.
This show is sponsored by 61 Design. Can I have $61, please? Thank you. Macarthur 4, Brisbane Roar 4, right? So a point for Brisbane. God, they needed that. They were 2 up. Macarthur make it 2-2. Brisbane go 3-2 up. Macarthur go 4-3 up. Then it's 4-4, which is exactly how you want a 4-4 to go. I sort of feel with games with that many goals in, Batka, I find it hard to analyse the match. Because every time you look at it, there's just another goal. So I don't really know who was good or who wasn't. But I enjoyed it tremendously.
It was one of them games where you think, you know, Brisbane can run away with this. And then all of a sudden, Macarthur jumped back in and, you know, we got a game again.
I think if you're Brisbane, obviously, great story with Thomas Waddingham, you know, getting
The new VIDUKA.
The new VIDUKA,
him
yeah.
and
We'll have a word on that.
Jelicic as well, I thought, provided the,
Yeah.
you know, the chances. So that's a great story. But then you look at the 2 goals, obviously the first one, deflection, strike from the edge of the box. But then they concede 2 set plays. And it's poor. It's just, first of all, it's a corner they don't shut down. Then there's somebody who really doesn't, you know, gets the clearance. So that will be disappointing. I think the way they let Macarthur back in the game.
Back in, yeah.
But overall, you know, again, it was excitement from from start to finish, and
for the viewer, absolutely.
And some good, some bad. But the Oscock playing a
That
part in
own
either
goal,
end.
that own goal is brilliant, isn't it? I don't know what he's
But
doing.
both of them are like similar.
Yeah.
Like it's sort of
Yeah.
a
They are.
slide, but it's hard because afterwards I was like, can he get a call from the keeper? But he's in the box when he crosses it, and sometimes it's a quick decision. You're watching the ball, and I think instinctively as a defender and even as a goalkeeper, you're like, I'm trying to cut this out. I'm trying to cut it out, and it's just that good cross in between the keeper and the defender. And that's what happens. Like, you knock it in.
I think that's what it boils down to. It's that it's a really good cross in a dangerous area. Yeah. No one means to score an own goal.
How many did you score, Batka?
There was one at Sydney FC, and I think Ian Ferguson was the gaffer at the time, and he just ripped me a new rear end.
Did he?
Yeah, he said, how can you score an own goal like that? It was top bins.
Well done.
Pardon the pun.
No, that's okay.
It was top bins.
What, from 25 yards?
No, not from 25 yards. I was in the box. But anyway, no one means to score an own goal. It's unfortunate, but...
Did Ian Ferguson need to tell you that? I mean, you knew, surely.
Of course I knew.
Yeah.
I slept on that for a few days. I'm not going to lie. Yeah.
Okay, you over it now?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm pleased. Can we get that footage?
Absolutely.
I don't know if the
Ferguson
tape...
still isn't. But,
No, he's still...
No, he's
raging.
He's still dirtied up.
He's still fuming.
Yeah, dirtied up.
Every time you see him, he's just there on the corner
doesn't get
going,
any
"What
Christmas
are you
cards."
doing?"
He doesn't get
What
any
you
Christmas
doing with
cards.
that own goal? That's a crappy Scottish accent there. But it was a really good game for the, you know, for a person that wanted to watch 8 goals in 90 minutes of football, and I think the highlight is probably De Silva's finish.
That's not easy, that, is it?
Is absolutely world class for me.
For me, the build-up.
The build-up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Jake Holman just like pirouettes and nutmegs, and then Jet Drew. So it was actually 3 substitutes. Yeah. Jet Drew launches it in, and De Silva finishes. So got to give the manager a bit of credit for putting those 3 players on and turning the game around. So it gave them that bit of energy. And I think Jet Drew had such a great start to the season, and it's good to see him back and with an assist. So they've got some exciting players.
Yeah, I like a drilled cross, and he finished it well, didn't he? Yeah, really well.
Are we finished, or can we talk Waddingham?
Let's talk Waddingham, the new VIDUKA. Let's really build him up. Let's put as much pressure on him as we possibly can.
Dukes was my idol growing up, right? So I lotched instead of watched a lot of
if you
Dukes.
really focus, it's like locking on to watch, lotching, isn't it? That's what it is.
You're reading me, and I'm reading you.
I know, yeah.
And Dukes was an absolute gun.
Yeah.
So Wads has had a great start. Can he be the next VIDUKA? I think time will tell. You know, I'd love to see a really strong season, and then can he make that next step like VIDUKA did? I think at a very young age, where he went overseas, and I think to Croatia initially, to that second tier Europe, and then he obviously just built from there, and became an absolute superstar. But to talk about his second finish, he takes it really well in between the two central defenders, and just finishes it top left. Shows a lot of maturity.
But I think the exciting thing about the league is that there's actually quite a few of those players. We talked about Piol, that overhead kick. Bailey Brantman up at
he's not the only one.
Jovanovic, Mehmeti at Melbourne City. I think what you're just looking at is trying to get one of those to get a bit of consistency, to get on a run, to show it consistently week in and week out, because you can see there's so many of these young players that are showing a lot of potential,
very raw,
which is exciting for the league. But to take that next step, you need to do it week in and week out, and Waddingham, I think, is one of them. But definitely, I think VIDUKA, hopefully, I think it'd be great for Australian football if he can take that jump.
10 goals in 28 games in the A-League. 14 goals in 33 games in all competitions. He's only 19. He is a baby. And so it is ludicrous for any show to start comparing him to VIDUKA's just different level of footballer. Probably the greatest backside in football.
Beyonce-esque.
I think so.
All the single ladies.
You can't, just the way. I mean, he was obviously a brilliant footballer. The way he held the ball up was just.
It was tough. I played against him when he was at Leeds, and always in the box, but a complete player. And as I said, I know the defenders were struggling every time again because of the way he positioned himself, the way he held people off. He could turn a lot of Buttage. He could do that swivel in the box. He could strike from everywhere. Yeah, good player.
That's the full spectrum. You just saw the full spectrum there. So Tomo played against VIDUKA.
Yeah.
I watched VIDUKA.
Yeah. It's perfect.
Perfect.
Isn't it?
Balance.
Adelaide 2, Perth Glory 2. It's a huge point for them, isn't it, Norman? I think credit to them, because when they conceded 2 in 2 minutes, I was like, oh dear, they are done. They are gone.
I was writing a group chat. It's like, this is another meltdown. Perth meltdown.
Not again.
So to come back was great.
Taggart gets his double, which is good. Great to see him get his season started. And hopefully for them it's the beginning of something, providing a small spark to be able to build on, right? You've got to take the little wins when you're not getting any, and they haven't had too many. So I think take this and build on it for me.
Yeah, and I think you could see that there's a lot of good things about it. They're still vulnerable, like they showed in the start of the second half. You can't just come out on the sheds and then after you're finally ahead. But I think to get back into it, I think they showed fight all the way through. We have to talk about the VAR drama and how that sort of. No, it felt like the referee obviously went out and there was two situations: the handball and the offside for Bart Friend's goal, and then they put on. It's like the referee calling up the local government, and you just get put on hold. You know what? We just got to put you hold. And
your call is important to us.
The A-League will be right back screen, exactly. And he was standing there. The world is watching, and he just please come back with something.
Just like this. You are number 7 in the queue.
Yeah, but I think you could see there was a handball. He played the handball in. Just making a quick decision. So, I know that technically they have to go back and the offside was before the handball, but just let's move on. Like, there's a handball, come on, let's move on. Yeah. It just takes too long.
What are your thoughts, Tomo? Do you think that is a handball?
Yeah, there's two, because Brendan O'Neill at the end of the game hits him.
The one where they want a penalty, I was like, if that's a handball, I'm giving up football.
Yeah, but that's the thing. But this one, he actually...
I'm with you.
Thank you.
Definitely. I think there's two different handballs, because the first one of the goal, it hits his arm. It's actually a pass with his arm into Bart Friends, who then scores. I think that's a handball, because he uses that handball as part of, to set up the goal, really. Where the second one is more coincident. It doesn't really lead to anything. So I feel it's two different situations. But then the offside, so we don't need to discuss it. But
I feel like Bart Friends isn't going along with the cycle getting fined for not wearing a cycle helmet as much as I want him to, in that he should have had one on the sideline, so when he scored, he could have put it on and then said, kids, be safe. He could do like a tie-in with the local government once he gets off hold.
Absolutely. There could be a promo in that.
There was a Perth fan dressed as, I think, Gene Simmons from Kiss, which is one of those where you go, this is a good idea, and then once you're there, it's quite hot. It's a hot outfit. sympathise with the 80s rock and goth movements in Australia because of the heat. You know, if you're in okay, they're in Adelaide,
So
here,
like,
aren't they? But
like
if you're in Perth,
Denmark, you're a lot better.
You're absolutely
a lot better
fine
off.
being a goth in Denmark. It's cold all the
At
time.
an A-League game, right?
Yeah.
For me, it screams cheeseburger short of a Happy Meal, but that's me.
What do we think about the substitution with Caicedo? What do you think about it? Because it's a tough one in some way. Because he obviously stormed down the tunnel.
Yeah, toys out of the cot.
Yeah, but then
But what minute was it in when he was taken off?
it was in the 91st, I
So
think.
come on, it's like whatever. If
Yeah,
it's the
but-
30th minute,
Yeah, but I think as a player, he's obviously come from abroad and he feels like he should make a difference. But it was a like-for-like substitution. I think as a manager, though, you can be a bit smarter with the substitution. Because if he was substituted for a central defender,
Right,
it's like, okay, it's a centre-half, we're going to play with 5 at
Tactical
the back.
decision, yeah.
But it was Kalucha that came on. I don't know, who was it that came on? Oh, yeah. But it was more a winger for a winger. And then I could feel his frustration, but you can't react like that. We know as players, it sends a bad signal,
Correct.
especially in the way the situation they're in. But I still
sends a
I
bad
still- I
signal,
st-
but it's a fun signal.
yeah,
Right, isn't it?
yeah. And I think it's
Well, we're talking about it,
I quite understand it as a player because of I think he could have been done a bit smarter.
But there is a serious point. Is I'm not sure. Has he just come into the league this season? You know, if you
Yeah.
have just come from abroad,
Is it from
it's actually-
Ecuador
It's
or
quite
Colombia
difficult.
or something?
And you know, maybe you've come with your family or you've left your family at home and stuff. Actually, it's it can be quite a lonely place. I think being a footballer in play. You know, when you travel and you've come from overseas. I don't know if you found that when you first moved to England or whatever.
Of course, it's always difficult, but I think for South Americans with the language and everything, it's even more like at least I knew I could speak a bit of English before I thought I could and sat in the Sunderland dressing room. I didn't understand the thing.
Your English was probably the best.
I was just
of the lot,
laughing when
actually.
people were laughing. So I thought with my school English, I was perfectly set up. But no, I'm sure he's only 23, I think. So it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, and we never really think about footballers as humans.
We judge pretty quickly.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Yeah, you still have to be professional.
The benefit of that game is getting the point. Do you want to finish it that way? I'm not too sure. From Driller's perspective, probably adds a little bit more mayo onto a difficult situation in terms of their start to their season. So that's one that they'll have to manage internally, I think, Tomo, and just...
Yeah, I think it's just one of them you have to point out that, it doesn't help anyone.
Yeah.
Are you suggesting that mayonnaise is all bad, or just that there's the right amount of mayonnaise, and when you add more,
Depends
it can
how
be
much
quite
fat
sickening?
there is in there. How much saturated fats go light on the mayo.
No, I think you want
But then it's substitute with sugar, though, isn't it? And
you want the
that's-
real
you're right.
thing, but just not too often. You know,
Giving out cooking advice now, it's not. There's so much.
well, it's more diet,
diversity
it's more
in
sort
the
of
show.
health and diet, isn't it? We're middle-aged men now. We have to think about these things.
Speaking of cooking, you mentioned some cooking last week, didn't you? Master Chef.
Oh, I'm a great cook.
Gravy
I
and chocolate, I think, with the two ingredients.
That's true. Yeah,
Can,
chocolate and
can we
gravy.
whip
Yeah.
something up?
Because
Because that's my official background. I studied as a chef as a young lad.
Is that right?
Yeah.
we've had paintings.
Yeah.
Like, I think we can.
It's a
we
lifestyle
can do
show.
recipes.
We'll be on 10 Bold soon, won't we? 9 a.m. looking at the latest fashions. What's your signature dish?
Spag bowl. Like it's
Like
oh,
any
yeah.
Macedonian.
Mate, I've got
the classic Macedonian fare.
No, I got 3 kids, mate.
Western Sydney 2 won 2-0 at Melbourne City. This feels, Tomo, like a massive victory for them.
Oh, I think after the derby and the disappointment there, I think they've been on the end of some bad results and all the talk, obviously with Mata and everything else. So they needed it, but you've got to look at Melbourne City were on top definitely early on and had chances. Again, I think Atkinson had a chance. They just had, I think, enough to get over the line, but didn't. And then, we're again talking about, moments in games and a penalty. And
I'm a
suddenly
big fan of that.
Talbot,
A real...
Talbot just like
Talbot's
He
He
carved him in
just sticking
half,
out a
didn't
leg.
he?
Absolutely T-boned
Yeah.
him. It was brilliant.
Yeah, it's just one of them where you're like, just a bad. You don't even complain.
No.
It's just all right. I got that wrong.
Stonewall. There was one last week, and I thought, you're never going to get a more blatant penalty than that. And then Callum Talbot thought, hang on a second, I can do this. You're right. T-boned is exactly the phrase.
And then
isn't it?
Milanovic being the difference, again, stepping up. He had a couple of good moments before that,
did.
and now he scored.
Just direct forward runs.
Yeah, confidence. I think he hit the post earlier in the
did,
game
yeah.
as well, and then obviously 5 goals. He's top of the golden
tree.
boot. Yeah, so great season. So sometimes you need players to step up, and I think Melbourne City, just didn't really have that in that game. You know, they had enough possession, enough chances, but didn't take them.
Alan Stajic says Milanovic has unlimited potential.
Wow.
That's a lot of potential.
Big call.
It's a big call. No, we've had the new VIDUKA. Is he?
Do you think he has limited
Cool.
potential? Well, I mean, like how good do you think this guy can be?
I think it's great for us to be having these conversations.
for sure.
Like I think that's the positive thing, right? Tom, I mentioned it earlier. We've got a host of young boys that have been given a go and that are actually showing us something a little bit different. They're showing some edge, which is probably something that Australian football has missed over the past decade. And all of a sudden, you know, we're seeing these guys pop up week in, week out, which is what we want. We want to see that consistency from these young boys, and we're starting to get it. If they can build, absolutely. Why can't they be the next, you know, Australian superstar?
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think they needed that. And as you said, I think you said earlier, with they need the talk to go away with Macarthur. Or you know, he came on and
correct.
You know, got his.
But there's no chat at all. It doesn't matter.
No,
if they win,
when you win,
It doesn't matter.
chat.
Oh wow!
Really
How
good.
good is this guy?
Yeah.
Seriously.
That is great, isn't it?
How good is this guy?
Bing.
Bing. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Because last week it was like dark matter, wasn't it? Which is quite heavy. You know.
Oh, wow. Hold the phone here.
Yeah,
He's
pretty
going
good,
back
eh?
to back, Tomo.
Yeah.
He's
Doesn't
going.
matter.
Yeah. but the truth is, that was the whole chat of that
let's
last
go.
game,
Yeah,
wasn't
no,
it?
it was.
And no one cares. They, you know, he comes on, poodles about a bit. But if you've won, this is great.
No, I think, you know, Lawrence Thomas, I think it's important for them to have him back. We saw that goal mile scramble. You know, he claws it out and gets a hand to it, a little bit of luck. But again, I think that sometimes that experience at the back, I think they lack that maybe, even though the young keepers did okay. But, you know, I think it's important to have your captain back, and he did well. So a clean sheet.
He's massive.
Yeah, a
He's
clean sheet
massive.
for them. You know, that's a massive result.
For City Hard, I think 3 Socceroos boys watching the game from the stands. Tilio.
Yeah, he'll be out for a while, I think.
Who were the other two?
Naboot and then Lecky.
Naboot and Lecky.
Lecky seems to be, you know, you can't really play more than one game and then he's out. So
He's
that's
in and
a
out.
that's a problem. They need those players back, and then, you know, Max Caputo is still injured. He's
still out
another
as
young
well.
player, and Métis. So you're counting on sort of unproven players to get those goals.
Yeah.
Kuhn, I think, has been good.
Yeah.
You know, he looks like a good player. So so they've got some quality, but just need the finishing.
Just a little bit of polish. Even Mehmeti, I think, has an opportunity in the second half.
That
and
header.
He almost, it's a great clearance, almost defensive clearance. But the positive thing is, you know, he gets into that position. It's just, again, trying to find that consistency as a young player. And he'll, you know, they'll work on that, and he'll find that as he grows. But again, you can change the game in that moment. So unfortunate for him, but he'll get better.
I've had a nice time, chaps.
Yeah.
I think we've covered
been
everything,
good.
haven't we? What haven't we covered? Football, bolognese. What else do you need?
Oh, how good.
Yeah, that's a great day.
I'm going to go see the GP now.
What a start to the week. You're like, fantastic.
Yeah. Thanks for coming in, especially when you're feeling under the weather. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Norm. We'll be back next week. Take it easy. Goodbye.